क्या है? मीट है क्या?
गूगल मीट
मीट है।
मैंने जूम पे किया था रिकॉर्डिंग उस टाइम, मीट पे नहीं आता मुझे।
अब क्या होगा?
कर सकती हूँ।
बस 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 बस। अबे
फक
यहाँ
फक
पे
मत
कहाँ है?
बोल।
अबे कहाँ पे है? यहाँ पे दिख भी नहीं रहा मेरे को।
अरे मुझे मीट में नहीं दिखा था, इसलिए मैंने जूम का लिंक भेजा था तुम लोग को उस दिन, जब
अबे
तुम
जिसके
वाले
पास लैपटॉप उससे कर रहे हो, और कंट्रोल प्लस जी दबाओ, उस पे हो जाएगा, विंडोज प्लस जी।
तू कर लेना मयंक।
मैंने कर दिया है, लेकिन इसी से होता है या नहीं पता नहीं। रिकॉर्ड हो तो रहा है, दिखा तो रहा है।
बस
अब तक जो भी हो रहा था सब रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है, सही है।
नहीं, अब भी किया है स्टार्ट।
वो तो बाद में क्रॉप कर देंगे यार थोड़ा सा।
यार
भाई
ये
पक्का
ज्वाइन नहीं
नहीं
कर
है,
रहा है।
कोई और भी कर लो।
क्या तू कौन सा करना है? टैब बता।
विंडोज प्लस जी।
जी।
मेरे उससे तो नहीं हुआ जी से।
अपना अपना जी देख लो भाई, कौन सा है।
मेरे तो पता नहीं एक्सबॉक्स खुल गया कुछ।
देख ले
तो
भाई।
क्या क्या खुल गया?
हाँ, वो बहुत कुछ खुल जा रहा है, ऊपर से बस स्टार्ट दबा दे उसमें।
मेरे इसमें शायद दूसरे उससे होगा, मेरे इसमें इससे तो कम परफॉर्मेंस
यार सर तो
परफॉर्म
ज्वाइन ही नहीं कर रहा है।
कर लेंगे, थम जाओ थोड़ा। अबे रिकॉर्ड का
कहाँ से आवाज आ रही है?
इशिका तो कौन कौन से क्वेश्चन उस दिन पूछी थी, मुझे ये बता दे।
What qualities do you look for
Why
while hiring? मैं सेंड कर रही हूँ।
qualities according to you वाला, और do you और your team वाला, ठीक है?
हाँ हाँ।
मेरे लास्ट 2 क्वेश्चंस हैं। हर्ष का है,
6
हु
to
आर द
8।
इन्वेस्टर्स फॉर द वेंचर, ठीक है।
क्या
ज्वाइनिंग
बज रही है?
मेरा ज्वाइनिंग बोल रहा है।
हर्ष वैसे अगर तू मास्क पहन के वीडियो खोलना चाहे तो खोल सकता है।
अभी नहीं लगेगा मास्क पहन के? बहन तो घर पे मास्क पहन के बैठा है।
कह देना कुछ हो गया तो बोल दियो, क्योंकि एक बार तेरी वीडियो ऑन होगी तो ज्यादा बेटर रहेगा, वैसे बाकी तेरी
अरे
मर्जी है।
वो सर अगर उसको पूछेंगे ना तो बता देगा सर ये
रुक जा
प्रॉब्लम है।
रुक जा रुक जा, सर ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, म्यूट कर दे। Good evening, sir.
Hi guys, good evening.
Hello, sir. Sir, so this is our group. Our group consists of 6 members, namely Kishika, Diksha, Mayank, Chirag, Harsh, and I. So, see you, as you already know that as a part of a relab project, we have to analyze. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Yes.
Okay, so we have to analyze real life entrepreneurial stories, and we are really intrigued to interact with you because that would help our group to get an insight on why individuals become entrepreneurs, how they find opportunities, the problems they solve, their target audience, what all goes into translating an idea into a venture, and all those things. So, sir, I would like to ask you, could you please give a brief introduction about your venture and yourself?
Sure. So, hi Ishika, hi Chirag, hi Diksha, hi Harsh, hi Mayank, and the other lady sitting with Diksha, I don't know her name, so hi. Uh,
Kishika, hi sir. Hi
hi.
sir.
Um, so, quickly introduce myself. My name is Aditya Bose. I'm a Bengali born and brought up in Delhi, and right now staying in Bhopal. So, life has taken me to quite a few cities. And I'm an edtech entrepreneur. So, I started off as an engineer, like everybody else does mostly in India. Then I figured out that engineering is not the right career option for me. Then I also figured out that engineering is apparently not the right career option for quite a few of my batchmates. You guys have these business plan competitions inter college, which I also started applying to. So at that time, my thought process was that I'll um, be able to get some prize basically for second, third prize, and be able to advertise with my CV that see I'm an all rounder, I'm an engineer, plus I do good business planning, plus I do good debating. So I've just participated in all different clubs like debating, etc. So this business plan thing turned out to be pretty good. Like within my third or fourth attempt, I started winning some cash prizes, first, second, third position. So I had a decent accumulation of certificates and cash prizes. Using that cash prize, I also fed my friends a lot, which made me the stud of college for a while. And then over time, initial motivation was, of course, the popularity that I got and the certificates that I was getting, the feeling of winning. Eventually, by my third year, I suddenly realized that this is the only thing I'm doing for myself. Because to win more business plan competitions, I had also started to study a lot more about education, about entrepreneurship. There was this free course platform, which still is called edX.org. I started doing courses online on that, on education and entrepreneurship. So by my third year, I kind of realized that the classes I go to because I want to get a degree, the exams I study for because of the same reason. The only thing which I do for myself is this, and it seems to have some scope because I am at least winning some business plan competitions. So that means maybe this business idea has scope. So I decided to complete college and become a full-time entrepreneur, which is what I did. Uh, this is my seventh year in entrepreneurship. So mostly I am known for being a career coach and an entrepreneur. And the first 6 years of my entrepreneurial career, I started up and ran a bootstrapped enterprise, which received one round of funding called Pro Bono. It was a career guidance platform for high school students across India to help them make the right career choices and build the skills that they need to succeed. And this year in April, my startup Pro Bono got acquired by this company called Top Rankers. And now my startup Pro Bono has been renamed to Top Rankers Udan, which I still continue to run as its product owner. In a nutshell, that's an introduction.
So, hello, sir. I'm Chirag. Sir, I just want to know what is your venture about and what was the core idea behind your venture?
Got it. So, as I said, it's majorly career guidance and skill building for high school students. These high school students will be in class 8th to class 12th, aged around 13 to 18 years. Indian students, we are not catering globally as of now. I think India's population in itself is pretty big. And during my story, also, I kind of had a small description of how during college I discovered that me and my friends were not in the right career option. Basically, I found out that whenever you ask somebody why are you doing mechanical engineering or why are you doing so and so engineering or whatever they are pursuing, usually people will not say I'm passionate about it or I really like this profession. People will say either something related to money that they think this profession has in it for them. Like they'll say this profession has a lot of scope, good average salary, and I've seen my friends earning good salary in this profession. So they'll only talk about either some salary gain from that career option, or they'll talk about how they accidentally landed up here. So another template story can be कि देख यार साइंस जितने नंबर नहीं आए थे, आर्ट्स लेनी नहीं थी क्योंकि सोसाइटी रिस्पेक्ट नहीं करती, तो इसलिए मैंने कॉमर्स ले लिया। कॉमर्स लिया तो मुझे लोगों ने बोला सीए, तो मैंने सीए कर लिया, और अब मैं काफी कर रहा हूँ कैसे कैसे करके, बस भगवान ही जानता है मैं कैसे जिंदगी काट रहा हूँ। So this is also one template story that I get to hear, not only from commerce students across. So somebody who's in engineering again, they'll tell you the same thing कि भाई मेरे नंबर नहीं आए थे, फिर मामा ने कहा जर्नलिज्म कर ले, तो मैंने कर लिया। Like nobody really researched. So this is something which I found out a little bit weird. So if let's say people tell you कि engineering में पैसा है, तो then you can always give them an example कि शाहरुख खान एक्टिंग में है तो एक्टिंग में भी पैसा है, सचिन तेंदुलकर क्रिकेट में ही पैसा है। तो फिर लोग थोड़ा वैसे बोलेंगे यार लेकिन एक्टिंग क्रिकेट में सबको ही एवरीबडी कांट अर्न लॉट ऑफ मनी देयर। So then you'll be like that, okay, then design is also a decent average income profession. Hotel management is a decent income profession. The average incomes of most academically oriented or most degree oriented careers ranges from 3 to 6 lakh per annum, usually, right? A few here and there might be present, but mostly that. And for you guys, thankfully, the average income is much higher, but then you're master students. So, because of this, I just understood that people are not passionate about what they are pursuing. So they'll either fall into the average line or the below average line. Now, the interesting thing about India, which is something I found out during this business plan competition research, is that 50% of our current population is below the age of 25, which means that if we shape this youth in the right direction, a lot of good things can happen for the country, and vice versa. That if you don't shape the youth well, then we can also destroy our own country. and we have a few examples of countries which have already done that. So that is where I thought that this venture is starting at the right point of time in history. We are solving a genuine problem. None of my friends had ever received any formal career counseling, so that also meant that none of them were, you know, accessed by a career counseling company, which means that either lesser companies are there or like there's certain lack of access, lack of awareness. Genuine lack of awareness I also tested when I initially started career counseling. I'll give you an example. So we have one, two, three, four, five guys here. One of them unfortunately had some internet connection problems probably. So can you let me know how many civil services are there in India? Like Indian Administrative Service is one. How many such civil services are there in India?
IPS, IFS,
Right. So two more. There are three and
IRS.
IFS,
IFS.
IFS,
IFS, Krishi Vijay, yes, of course. Okay, IFOS, I'll add another one. Indian Forest Services, IFOS, and
Yes,
think. See, the fact that you guys are having to think so much and none of you know the right answer. So, is it that your schools were bad? I don't think so. Is it because your colleges were bad? I don't think so. The problem is that it is not in our culture to teach our children about different career options available. So none of your fault actually. I also learned these things when I myself became a career counselor. So not that if I would have been an MBA student like you, I don't think I would have also known. So there are 23 civil services in India, and mostly people only know about administrative services. So like let's say there's something called an Indian Corporate Law Service. Nobody has ever heard of it. There's something called an Indian Information Services. Same thing. So and why did I ask you this question? Because it's a popular exam. 14 lakh students attempt the examination, much more than people attempt CAT. This year, 3.3 lakh people attempted CAT, which is the like highest ever number in the history of CAT, right? So there are more students who attempt civil services exams till the time people know about this. So this is an extreme lack of career awareness that our country has. I can ask you 10 such questions, you'll not have a clue because schools did not teach you. Schools did not teach me. So we made very less informed career decisions, 3.3 lakh students will attempt CAT, but how many people will attempt IP MAT? Hardly 20,000. Why? Because they don't know that something like an IP MAT exists, which can get them into IIM or like right after 12th. That is a problem. So these problems I identified during my journey, and that's why I started this venture. Our venture had different and has different courses or you can say programs based on students' needs. So we have both a B2B and a B2C wing. Majorly, I started off as a B2B. I started this as a B2B venture. Like we tied up with a lot of schools, CSR initiatives, NGOs, cater to rural area students. A lot of one-to-many sessions, a few one-to-one sessions, and eventually this is the time when I've come into the B2C market very actively. So now we are also catering a lot more to parents and individual students.
Good evening, sir. Sir, can you tell about the problems you faced in growing your business?
One major problem was money, of course. When you start up right after college at 22 years of age, you have usually not worked a job. I did work two part-time jobs. So I was in my fourth year, a part-time home tutor and a part-time freelance technical writer. So technical writing is basically when these foreigner kids like USA, UK kids, they receive some homework and they don't want to do it, so they'll just put it online for some third world country freelancer to do it, represent. So I did it for these guys and got like $2-3 per page, which at that time was 65 rupees per dollar. So decent income. Like 5 days I used to write 10-20K a month. A decent income for a college student. The problem is I did not know how to handle money, so I spent it a lot on treats and non good expenses. So I did that a lot. So by the time my college ended, I had 30K rupees. I think somewhere around 30-40K rupees. So I went to Bangalore, even though I was a resident of Delhi myself. So like a tier one city to tier one city, very stupid move in hindsight. But at that time, I thought that Bangalore is the Silicon Valley of India. So maybe I'll be able to do something better there. And my elder brother used to live there. So no rent, thankfully. Um, but yeah, I think when I went there, I started randomly going to schools to sell my career counseling product. Nobody bought it. 3 months later, I finished up all the money that I had because you need to survive also, right? You need to eat food, travel. So I just finished up my money. Again, started teaching home tuition for 3 months. And then this time again, I started, reaching out to a lot of schools. Started with free workshops this time, did not offer anything paid. Got 8 schools under my kitty. My ninth school was my first ever paid school. So I think the second problem would be getting my first customer. I got my first paid customer after 6 months of starting my business. So till that time, it was very demotivating. In just 6 months, I thought of quitting many times. And then in my seventh month, miraculously, I got 42 schools at one shot. And that's when I registered like incorporated my venture. So getting my first customer, money was a huge problem. And because of the lack of money and my lack of ability to hire well initially, I also had a problem in getting a good team full time. So usually, since I did not have the money and did not have the ability initially to convince people on my vision, I either had part-time people or very like disengaged people.
Good evening, sir. So first of all, thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule,
Thank you.
and we will definitely learn a lot from this interaction. So my question to you is, what are the qualities you look for while hiring an individual?
Good question. Today only I interviewed 4 guys, so I think this is like more, more of a recent thought process. So these days I look for a keenness to learn, which is very hard to assess, but I still try my best to assess that. Um, One way to assess is I usually start pointing out problems in people during the interview only and see how they react. Like if they get offended, then so like today there was a girl who was pronouncing stuff a little, more in a desi accent. So she was like, definitely. So I just pointed it out. You see, you have a desi accent. What do you want to do about it? So she was like, yes, I accept, which is a good, like a green flag for me. Ki, chalo, she accepts. Otherwise, she could have just told me, how can you say that? Our mother tongue is Hindi. So, thankfully, she did not say that. So these days, that's my way of assessing keenness to learn. Whatever problem I find in the candidate, I point it out on face. And then I see whether the guy like gets really angry on me or is ready to accept or is ready to at least think of it that maybe it's something wrong with me. Like there's something wrong with everybody today, right? Something wrong with me also. What do you think about that? So that is one thing I just test for keenness to learn. Second thing which I assess for, like for me, it's a big thing. Good communication skills. So diction and pronunciation should be clear in at least Hindi and English. Hindi because 43% of India speaks it, and English because you know why. Uh, so that is something I look for. Um, Skill in that domain. So let us say somebody is a career counselor. Then I ask them questions like I just did with you. That what is the full form of USEED? If you give JEE main, then what all engineering options can you get into? Can you name like 10 engineering professions? If the guy is a techie, I'll ask him coding questions. If the guy is a salesperson, then I'll ask them sales-oriented questions. That let us say parent is saying no to buying career counseling from you, then what will you say? So domain expertise is third thing that I'll test for. And I think basic professional etiquette. Like, does the guy come on time? So a lot of times that's why I call the guys at 9 a.m. in the morning for interviews. And if the guys don't turn up, I know that this guy is not gonna make it. So then there are a lot of people, who would just say that, can we reschedule this at 1:30? I'm like, no. So that's just my way of hiring. I'm not sure if it is right or wrong, but it works out for me these days. So.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So, sir, one more question I would like to ask, and that is, according to you, what is an entrepreneurial approach to the problem solving? Like your entrepreneurial approach.
Um, you understand the root cause of the problem. I think that's very important. Of late, I'm also learning a lot of late. So this is something I've learned very recently, that you, instead of solving for symptoms, you understand the root cause of the problem. And then you solve for that through a stepwise process. You try to make it into a process. Like initially, maybe you just try to solve it in any way possible. You persevere the basic stuff, you try different things. If you fail, you accept it quickly. You try stuff really fast. That is another trait. And once you solve it, then you make a process out of it, because eventually only you might not be able to solve it at a larger scale. So then you need to build it as a process so that 20 more, 100 more people can be trained on how to solve this problem in case it ever arises, or in case this is a regularly arising problem.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So, the next question will be taken by Harsh.
Hi, this is Harsh.
I have.
And my question to you would be, first of all, are you bootstrapped or are you having any investors? If you are having, who are they? And what is your current model of operating? You're solving a problem, but how do you exactly solve the problem? Let's say I am here to enroll in your model. So how do I do that?
So, answering the bootstrap question, Pro Bono was bootstrapped for the first 2 years. Then I had a very limited like debt funding, so I got like 75K at 2% interest. Then I got 1.5 lakh at 2% interest. Then in 2020, so the real funding, the first real funding which I got, like 1.5 lakh, I don't think is a very relevant amount in startup terminology. Of course, for me it was back then. So in my third year, fourth year, I think fourth year of business, I got 20 lakh for 10%. That was my first funding, so to say, like equity funding. I got that from angel investors. Then I got a very small grants here and there, 1 lakh from InfoAge in 2022, stuff like that. And in 2023, Pro Bono was acquired, so you can say I got then a funding from an institution like a company. Now, in Top Rankers, we have an investor called Sixth Sense Ventures on board, which has given like $4 million last year, out of which I think a substantial amount of funding was used to acquire my startup also. Uh, so yeah, I think this is the journey in terms of funding. So I have spent quite a bit of years in terms of as a bootstrap founder. That's an immense learning, I would say. Every startup founder should at least spend 2 to 3 years bootstrapped, even though it does take away a bit of energy during the initial part of your journey, and you feel like quitting 100 times every year. But it is worth it, especially in hindsight. In terms of how do you enroll into my course, so right now you just go to toprankers.com/Udan, explore our programs. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. I host a webinar for parents, which is very strongly promoted on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I put out ads. So people join that webinar. And in that webinar, I tell them about basically how to make the right career choice. And if they need any help in the process, they can join us. And then my growth team works with the respective parents, does one-to-ones over Google Meet, over Zoom, helps them understand the benefits of career counseling and what is the offering that we provide. So our offerings are, there are two offerings right now which we provide. One is called Discover, which has four one-to-one sessions over a year, along with platform access with a lot of videos and with four psychometric tests. Then there is a program called Evolve, which has 14 one-to-one sessions right from their 8th and ninth class until the end of college. So you get a mentor and a career guide till the end of college. Every year you are in college, you get two one-to-one sessions. In school, you get six total one-to-one sessions, which ensures career decision making, career planning, and the right college selection. And in college, we help you build your portfolio of internships, academics, and extracurricular activities because usually students are not able to manage all these three together. And that Evolve program is like the premium Mercedes program that we have. The Discover program is more like a Baleno that we have, Baleno or some mid-sized car, you can say. So that's how you enroll basically. And you can pay for it in four EMIs as well.
Okay, so my question was answered very well. And I have one last question after which Kishika can proceed. The question is, you mentioned that you had two investors. One was an angel investor and the second was an enterprise, I guess. Yeah, right? So which one do you think is a better one? Like an enterprise doesn't interfere that much and an angel wants to know things. So which one do you think is better?
So Harsh, my experience actually was a little different from what you said. So with me, my angel investors never interfered, frankly, and the institutional investors, I wouldn't say interfere. Interfere is slightly a wrong word to use. Not because I'm trying to be politically correct. If they interfered, I would have told interfered. But I think they teach you stuff. Of course, during the meetings, you feel that why are these guys questioning so much? But then once you come out of it, once you think about it in hindsight, then I also, since it took me a long time to get even here, now I can realize some of the basic mistakes that I made as an entrepreneur. So when guys help me understand that this is where you're getting stuck, this is where you're getting too much into the operations, this is where you're not having the thought of scaling, you're not taking calculated risks. So I think that is a good learning for me. So I would say they contribute to strategy a lot more, at least in my case. Every month we have board meetings. They contribute a lot to the strategies and they give me a free hand. It's not like they'll just say that do this, I'm telling you to do this, you have to do this. Sometimes they might, sometimes if they think they have better wisdom, so they might tell you to do that. That just trust me with my experience, do what I'm saying. Oh, like that will be one time out of 10 or maybe one time out of 20, but other 19 times they'll just tell you that I think you should do this, you decide. So That's been my experience.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that is the point. Someone who has a lot more experience than you as a young entrepreneur, you would definitely want them to
Hmm,
tell
hmm.
you stuff, because you get so involved in operations when you're operating that you sometimes forget the larger picture. So that
Yes.
is it. And thank you so much. And Kishika will proceed now.
Good evening,
Thanks,
sir.
Ash.
First of all, you're doing a commendable job guiding both students as well as parents, because
Thank you.
I coming from a science background and ending up doing MBA, I can understand that very well. So my question to you is, was it difficult to convince people to invest in your venture?
It still is, in fact. I'll honestly tell you, career guidance is not currently a very attractive ecosystem for investing. That's what my experience has been. Of course, with time, it's improving a lot. Like when I started off, people absolutely did not trust that career counseling can grow as a venture. Today, a lot of people do. But in the larger market, you know, a lot of things have happened, especially after COVID. What's happening with Byju's, what's happening with different companies across the ecosystem. Again, I don't have a personal comment on how things are happening at their end, but just the drop in valuation and stuff. Um, I think all of this is affecting not only just career counseling funding, but edtech funding overall. And I feel that career counseling has always been a difficult sector to convince people on both ways. Like the customers that it is needed, and it is something you should have as a compulsory part of your child's education, if not from us, at least from somebody else. And in terms of career counseling being an investable proposition as a business is also something I have had a very difficult time convincing people on. Over time, I have seen the ecosystem improve on both ends. I think now people understand more than ever why career counseling is needed so much. And I think over time, more people are getting convinced. That is the power of education-based selling. The only problem with this approach is that you have to stick in the market for a while before anything starts moving.
So my last question would be, so what message you would like to give young-minded people who are looking forward to become an entrepreneur?
Hmm. I would say definitely start right now. So don't make the process very difficult for yourself. So a lot of students have ideas, but since they are students, they'll give themselves some excuse. So let's say I want to manufacture water bottles, or let's say I want to make an urban club for pets, or something like that. Then I'll say, okay, now I'll have to make a website, an e-commerce app. Then I'll have to manufacture at least 500 bottles before selling. Don't do that. If you want to test whether your idea works out, so if you want to sell water bottles, just buy 10 bottles from the market, do something with it, like very basic stuff, stick some stuff on it, or I don't know, like just play around with it a little. Don't need to interfere with the manufacturing much. And sell it to people on a higher price. Let's see how good sales skills or how good branding skills you have. If you want to make an urban club for pets, you don't need an app. You just need a WhatsApp group with 20 people of your society who have pets, and just become the pet walker. 20 pets you can handle easily. So just become the pet walker for them, take pets from their home, deliver the pet back to their home, take feedback, understand how pet walking really is, bathe like 20 pets in a day. So I think these manual experiences initially will help you understand the nitty-gritties of the business. And they will also help you start immediately. So I always look for how to start immediately, like right from tomorrow without any investment. And I think most businesses have that scope. And secondly, sell as soon as possible. The problem is sometimes you get so busy making a product and you're so underconfident about your initial product that you don't sell it until you think it is perfect, and your perceived perfection is very difficult to reach initially because you don't have money, you don't have experience, and a lot of stuff. So then you get caught in that cycle. So you never sell. The idea is sell, receive really bad feedback, catch patterns, improve on those patterns, keep doing the cycle 3 4 times. I think by the fourth fifth cycle you will figure out something that sells for some money at least. So you get a feedback that okay, my idea is valid. And if you can't sell within like 10 cycles, 8 cycles, you know that it's a shit product, you need to remove it from the ecosystem, maybe start with something else. So I think start as soon as possible and sell as soon as possible.
Basically, it's all about now or never, and smart work is better than hard work. Yeah. So thank you, sir. Thank you for making some time for us on, especially on weekends. I know weekends are pretty busy, partying and everything. Then do you took time and interacted with us? It was a great pleasure talking to you, and you're doing a commendable job. So, any questions you would like to put up for us?
So first of all, thank you so much for interacting with me on a weekend. You guys also have party scenes, and especially MBA colleges these days have lovely party scenes. I wish I would have done an MBA at the right time.
Disclaimers attached, sir.
Yeah, I've stayed in RCI, so I know that
Yeah.
in BIMTech
Oh,
it's still a little difficult to party. IIMs are much easier to party, is what I hear. Uh,
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes, sir.
है ना? So, but these days, yeah, IIMs have a very different scene. Like because my elder brother is also from IIM Indore, so I don't think during his time they were having so much fun. But these days the kids are having a lot of fun. Um, Anyway, so coming back to the topic, I just wanted to ask you guys, maybe one by one you can contribute if you want. No push from my side. That this ELAB subject, not just this discussion, this ELAB subject, has it taught you anything relevant for your job or business that you're going to start?
So as for now, we are getting no, weekly assessments, because of which we are improving on the entrepreneur basis. We are looking forward to become one. They are guiding us through it, throughout our journey, because before this we were clueless about what entrepreneur was all about, and now we get to interact people like you who have their ventures and successful ones. So that's why, and we have our research on failed leaders as well. So it all sums up very well for us as to what to do and what not to do. As you said, smart work rather than hard work, now or never. So yeah.
And at the same time we are learning more about entrepreneurs. Like we had one project where we had to search for successful entrepreneurs and unsuccessful entrepreneurs, and if they failed, then what was the reason. And so yeah, we are learning all these things, so obviously.
And hopefully we'll reach where you are today. Hopefully.
No,
And
you'll do much
also,
better than me. I'm nowhere. You'll do much better than me.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
and
Means a lot.
also about the subject. Right now, I guess this subject in an PGDM or MBA, whatever you say it, a course like that, wherein you are getting so much professional feedback, wherein all the systems are set in a MNC, you get a very different approach wherein an entrepreneur starts from scratch. So things are not as organized for them, or let's say not all the systems are not in place, the ecosystem is not as set. So knowing about that gives us a reality check on if you really want to start a business. You don't start with hiring people from IIMs or the top MBA colleges and IITs of the world. So how you start a startup is very different from running a already functional business. So this is what elab has happened, and it has also pushed us to interact with entrepreneurs like you. Like we get a very little exposure to the entrepreneurs because obviously they are busy hustling somewhere in the corner of a room or in a dark room at night. So some people I know from AIC who are entrepreneurs. Rest I don't have access to many entrepreneurs. So elab as such has helped us interact with some entrepreneurs. So that is a good thing.
Yeah, I just became a little sad for you when there's so many kids screaming behind, and then you're here talking to me.
Yeah,
No worries,
that is a
I'll
match going on. Yeah,
there's a match going on. Which
yeah.
match? India, Australia.
No. That is the BPL, the BIMTech Premier League
Oh
is
yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yes, I remember. That's also in RCA, that
Yeah, that is happening
well
in
known.
RCI currently.
Uh,
So yeah, that's it. So I guess that is all from our side. Any one of you can conclude.
So, any other questions or anyone else would like to ask? So, any questions you can.
doesn't look
I
like
guess
it.
I have no
I don't
questions
think
left.
they have any questions or we have any questions.
So Harsh, enjoy BPL. Are you playing?
No, I'm not playing this season.
No worries. Enjoy watching it. Have
Today
a
we
good.
have finals. So,
Oh, it's a final. Okay.
yeah.
How do the teams get made? Are they based on hostels or like some department?
So
No,
the
no.
auctions are done for
Okay.
the team.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
have
That I have
franchises.
seen. That
Yeah.
auction also I have seen on the way passing. So I also used to work out of AIC. So when I would walk back, there would be auctions happening. Deshnath sir would be there, and who else? I think some teachers of yours would be there, and they would be conducting the auctions. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. So, so thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. I
Thank you
hope
so
this
much.
interview was in some way insightful for you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Good night. Good night,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
so
night.
Thank
much.
you so much.
तो कुछ ज्यादा इंटरेक्टिव हो गया बट अच्छे थे सर, बहुत अच्छे थे।
हाँ हाँ, कितना टाइम हुआ?
अभी
कौन
हम
रिकॉर्ड कर रहा
रूम पे
था?
अगर रिकॉर्ड हुआ है ना, बस मुझे ये बता दो प्लीज।
वो तो अभी पता चलेगा।
हाँ,
देखो
ओए,
चल
35 मिनट्स दिखा रहा है ऐसे तो अभी।
रिकॉर्ड
सही
हो चुका है
से।
ना, बस रिकॉर्ड होना चाहिए। यार हाँ, अब मैं कहता हूँ जैसे कल
मुझे
लास्ट डेट है।
सोनल
यार कल लास्ट डेट है, एक बार ना दोपहर में बात कर लेंगे एक और वीडियो बना
नहीं,
के।
अब तो सारा काम तू करेगा, हम कुछ नहीं
एक
करेंगे।
सेकंड एक सेकंड
अबे
क्या
अब
क्या
सारा
बात?
काम किसी को नहीं, सब अपना अपना क्वेश्चन का मैटर लिखो, क्या क्या उससे हमें सीखने
हाँ
मिला,
हाँ,
और सब आके
सब
बस
अपना अपना
बोलेंगे और प्रेजेंटेशन एक बननी है।
हम
अब
ये
एक
करेंगे
बार
कि एक प्रेजेंटेशन बना के उसको मतलब शेयर कर देंगे प्रेजेंटेशन, और पीछे अपना सब लोग बोलेंगे और प्रेजेंटेशन चलती
हर
चली जाएगी।
स्लाइड अपनी अपनी एक एक इंसान पकड़ ले और उसको
हाँ,
डिस्क्राइब जैसे
हाँ
क्लास में करते हैं
हाँ
वही करना
हाँ
है।
हाँ।
कल दोपहर तक कर लो, क्योंकि फिर शाम में सब बिजी हो जाते हैं यार।
दोपहर तक कर लेते हैं क्योंकि रात में मेरे को भी शादी में जाना है।
+1।
ठीक है।
नहीं, शादी नहीं, तेरे घर की शादी में नहीं आ रही मैं। और कोई जाना है मुझे। अपने घर जाना है।
यार ठीक है, फिर
और
पीपीटी
कोई
नहीं
ग्रुप
बनाना।
प्रोजेक्ट है अभी फिलहाल को?
हमें एक हमारा ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट है, वो अभी टाइम में ई लैब का ही है, तो उसमें हमको मिला है कैफे
फादर मदर वाला, कैफे वाला, हाँ। अरे वही, जो फादर मदर वाला ना, जो भी कैफे हुआ है हमारा, वही
हाँ, स्पिन द व्हील में था।
कैफे
उसमें
कैफे
हमको
हुआ है।
सबमिट करना, और उसकी प्रेजेंटेशन है 15 मिनट
आज
की।
एचआरएम की क्लास किसी ने अटेंड की हो तो पता है एचआरएम का क्या प्रोजेक्ट
कुछ
है?
बता रही थी मैम, मैंने सुना नहीं था। एक तो मेरा रिजल्ट नहीं आया।
तो नहीं, उनको ये कि
वो
इंडिविजुअल है कि
ये वाली
नहीं नहीं,
जो
ग्रुप
क्या
है।
बोलते हैं कैफे वाली, ये कब देना है?